This podcast is proud to be part of the TalkSPORT Fan Network. TalkSPORT. Powered by fans.
Reese, I've got great news. You can hold off changing the intro for the time being. Welcome back to Red Side of the Trent. Here to discuss all the latest news and gossip as Forest have made a little noise by signing Morgan Gibbs-White to a deal to 2028 as they lost to Fulham last night in their third friendly of pre-season. Delighted to be joined by Danny Tring and Reese Lane. But let's start at the top, guys. I think it's big headline news. Obviously, it's been bubbling for a couple of weeks now. I mean, Danny, we chatted about this a couple of weeks ago. Gibbs-White, was he staying? Was he going? We was all kind of wondering, why has it happened so fast? And then Marinakis has come in and stopped it all. And then he signed a new deal. Like, it's come out of the complete blue, really.
Yeah, I know. It's crazy. It's crazy. I think the best thing that's come out of it is one thing we all know, and I think other clubs need to get used to it, is we know Marinakis' number one priority is Nottingham Forest, and he didn't want Gibbs-White gone. I mean, it sounds as if he's had a release clause accepted and put phone down and just says, "I'll answer that till I've sorted what I need to sort." And I don't think clubs like it. I think we're upsetting teams, and there's only one winner out of the situation, and it's Forest, and that's the main thing. It's like Gibbs-White, yeah, he's got a new contract, which I imagine probably doubled his wages. And like you say, Marinakis has basically got to keep what he sees as his star player. I mean, I was critical of Gibbs-White. I felt there was something underhand went off, but in this current transfer window, I think we've probably looked, maybe you're talking Jacob Ramsey, was 50 million they were tarting. It's a lot of money to put on a player. I don't think the replacement was there. So all in all, it's better for the club. And I mean, fair play to Gibbs-White. I said it before. Fair play to him. He didn't go on strike. He turned up first day he was due back. The way he behaved during the whole saga was a credit to him, really. Obviously, what happened before, we don't really know. I'm under the opinion that obviously something's been gone underhand, because I've never seen a transfer fee minimum fee release clause be accepted and just brushed under the carpet. I think something's gone off underhand, maybe to the point where it's made it null and void. We don't know. But all in all, it's one thing that I think also it's nice that it's closed, isn't it? It's the saga's done. It was getting boring. It was literally, we was all in the chat. We were all saying, it's like, just either sign a new deal or go. Because it gets to that point. It's like we was on about, you might be the best player at the club in people's opinion. You might be the biggest, the fan favourite. But after a week, 2 weeks of his gone and new toys in, football moves that quick, no matter who you are. So I'm just glad it's all gone, done, brushed under the carpet. Upset a few more fans getting Europa League, and then we'll see where we are.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, Reese, what's your opinion of it all like, and how good is it to see Marinakis come in and personally sort of handle business, and what does this say about the rest of the club going forward, really, by keeping someone like Morgan Gibbs-White at the club?
Well, it's brilliant news, because at the end of the day, Morgan Gibbs-White is one of our best players, whether you think he's inconsistent, which, a lot of attacking players are, aren't they? Whatever your thoughts are of him, he is one of our best players. And, it is one of them things in football, isn't it? Fans get a bit disparaging when a player's about to go, and it's like a kind of jealous ex-girlfriend kind of thing, because he's not actually that good, and he's actually this and he's that. But no, he's one of our best players, so I'm absolutely delighted that he's staying. Obviously, with it being technically a 1-year extension, there might be a gentleman's agreement that next summer he might go. But at the end of the day, Forest are in control of the situation. they kind of know if that does happen and what they need to do to prepare for next summer. And from Morgan Gibbs-White's perspective, look, he's going to be giving his all this year, whatever, because it's a World Cup year. He'll want to get in Tuchel's squad. I know Tuchel doesn't seem dead keen on him, but we'll have to see if he puts his numbers up. He can, it's hard to kind of ignore it if he's obviously better than other players in and around his position. So, yeah, just brilliant news, mate. And like Danny said, it's just good that the saga's come to an end because, you can't keep going on and on and on and, questions being asked when, other business is more paramount. You know what I mean? We need to recruit as well. So, yeah, great that he's signed and hopefully it's for many more years to come. But, yeah, it wouldn't surprise me if it's, next summer. But like I said, we're in control of the situation. And again, like Danny said, it's good for Forest. So, yeah, that's all you can ask for, really.
What do you make of Marinakis flying in and kind of making it a sweetener? Because it sounds like, and what the reports are saying, that he gave him a bit of an arousing kind of speech to keep him here. And I mean, we kind of all saw what the pros were in staying here. I mean, me and Danny spoke about it a little bit off air. Like, he is the key man here. He's the main man going to Tottenham or City. He's another fish in a massive pond, really, in those two clubs. But here, I think he's thrived off being the main man, and I think he'll continue to do that being the main man here. And I'm not just saying that because we're all Forest fans, but it shows a great deal of intent. I mean, you don't get Daniel Levy trying to fly in to secure players, do you?
Yeah, well, as well, like I just said, with his England thoughts in mind, he's going to play week in, week out here, isn't he? Guaranteed. If Morgan Gibbs-White's fit, he's playing. He is. And whether that's in the Premier League or Europa or the Conference League, if it is a Conference League, when, the bigger fish of that tournament we're playing against, he's going to play. Whereas, like you say, Adam, he goes to Spurs, he goes to City. Spurs, I think he probably would play, but you have got competition in that area with the likes of Maddison. City, I mean, Jesus, they've got competition all over, haven't they? So it's a guarantee he's going to play with us. So obviously, I'm sure Marinakis would have, hammered that home to him. But yeah, look, Marinakis is who he is, isn't he? He's like Danny said, he's a disruptor, and he's not going to come into this Premier League, and he never has, of being like your Norwiches, your West Broms, of being a yo-yo club, happy to come up, bank the money, as did Luton. Look at them now, preparing for life in League One next season, bank the money, and just accept things lying down. He's a disruptor, and he takes no bull, I won't swear. And, you have to, as a fan, admire that he sticks up for his club, he sticks up for his principles, and he won't be pushed around, whether it's a Sky 6 club or whatever. So I've said it on this pod countless times. One thing, even in the early days when, there was probably a bit of a split on Marinakis and the others, we never, ever sold players for cheap. Never. We've never, ever. Like, I always think back to when, Derby used to bang on about how good their academy was, and Mel Morris was selling this player for a few million and that player for a few million. Whereas us, we sold, a Pie who made a couple of appearances at the time, 8 million. And there's others as well. Matty Cash, who was brilliant that season, but he had one season at right back, 15 million. I know he's gone on to be a really good player for Villa, but we've always maximised value, and that's one thing you can't fault him with. So, yeah, hopefully, my other point on it is hopefully with him flying in and kind of being in and around the environment, is that it pushes along some other deals now, and we can get some recruitment in if he's having a bit more of a hands-on kind of effect.
Yeah, that was something I was going to bring up. But I mean, Danny, we had this conversation in our WhatsApp group as well, and I think it's a really good point. I mean, the fans are very split on terms of what they think about Gibbs-White because of how it all got handled. Because if this hadn't come out about this release clause and everything, I don't know if Tottenham have got a bit of a leg to stand on in terms of that. If there's a breach of NDA, I guess not. I guess it gets pushed out the window. But do you forgive Gibbs-White straight away for how it's been handled by him and his team? Maybe
I'll forgive him when he scores his first goal. I'll still be singing his name. Yeah, it's football, isn't it? It's fickle. We know what it is. It is. It's like you could love a player for 5 year at your club, and then it goes and scores a goal, and you're booing him, you call him in every name under the sun. It's football. But yeah, it's like I say, I think Harry applied himself after all this news come out. It's put him in good stead. It's like he could have stayed at home, he could have trained, it could have been a bit of a locking at heads. Do you know what I mean? He could have been like, no, I want to go. No, I'm not training. No, I'm not doing this. And Marinakis was stubborn. And I mean, I won't put it past Marinakis. If he'd have turned around and it would have turned to that, he'd have stood the 60 million and says, well, just don't train, don't do anything. Like, I'm not being pushed over. Like, I can imagine that's what the type of person he is. So, no, like I say, I'll forget. Obviously, I want him to do well. It's like anyone who puts that shit on for us, we want him to do well. I don't want to be. Obviously, I was critical. I was not. I'd have seen him gone, and it wouldn't have bothered me too much because, like, of how it all unravelled. But obviously, now I want him to go on and succeed. I'd love to see him make the England squad. I think it'll be a tough ask because I think there'll be players in his position who didn't have a great year last year who will then be pushing on. So, but as Reece was saying, he's gonna apply himself. That's all we want. He is the main. He is going to start every game. He'll start every game. If Gibbs-White's fit and you're not playing with a 10, they'll put him on right. He's going to play every game. We've seen it, and it's down to opinions, like you said with Spurs. I think it's a toss up with Maddison, Kulusevski. Is he going to 100% going to start? And the answer is no. You can have your opinion. The answer is no. He's not 100%. Whereas the answer at Forest is 100%. There's no doubt. There's no one person who's going to turn a Forest fan, whether they like Gibbs-White or not, are going to turn around and say, well, he might not start a couple of games for us. It's like, no, he's going to start every game. He's going to be on the pitch for he'll have the most minutes alongside Murillo, Milinkovic, helps. That's football. We know, as Forest fans, we know the situation with him. So, yeah, to answer your question, yeah, I'm not beginning to name on back of my shirt, but I'll be supporting him along with the rest of them. Yeah, 100%.
You're getting Jonathan Green in as you're wearing his training top, aren't you?
Yeah, that's it. Get his ear cut.
I mean, part of me hopes that now, like you said, Reece, is that him signing a new deal shows intent of the club. That hopefully then pushes players to come and sign, because we're absolutely desperate. I mean, the next topic is this Dan and Doy deal thing that's been going on between us, Bologna and Napoli. It's like a bleeding crap love triangle, I have to say. What's your whole thoughts on it? Because it seems like he would like to come to the Premier League. It just seems like Bologna are being quite stubborn. I spoke to a journalist who works for Damasio, the Italian journalist there, and he's saying that Bologna are really, really hard bargain with, basically. And he says they will get everything they can get out of this deal, as they did with Joshua Zirkzee and other players in the past, it seems. So, yeah, where do you draw the line with this one?
Which you can't blame them. They have to look after the best interests of their club, like we do. I do think it's turned into a bit of a bidding war through kind of the media, really, and Bologna might be part of that, because they want to jack the price up, obviously. And to be honest, they probably won't want to sell to Napoli, because I know Napoli won the Scudetto last season, and Bologna was like vying for the lesser European places, but they're kind of a rival in that area, aren't they? So they won't want to really sell to Napoli, I'd imagine. It's one of them, mate. It's a tough one for Forest, because it's like, depends what Forest really value him at. How far they're willing to push it. Now, if obviously Forest value him at, say, 35 million and they want 45 million, it's like, well, do they go over for, and I know fans are like, yeah, pay it. But, you do that for every transfer and it comes a bit of a kitty, don't you? But I think it's going to be resolved, I'd imagine, over the next few days, either way. There's the problem is with social media, there's that many various reports. 1 minute it looks like he could be going to Napoli, then it's, he wants to come to the Premier League. Forest are preparing a bid. So I think it'll probably come to a conclusion this week, and hopefully it's in our favour, because especially if he wants to come, because he's a good player. He's a good player. He's someone who, I went to watch Bologna and Lazio last season. He was the man of the match that day. So he's someone for that, a few months I've kept an eye on. And obviously when I seen Napoli and then Palace was linked with him for a bit, and I was like, oh, I wouldn't mind us signing him if Alanga goes, which he did. And then to see us obviously linked with him and in the market for him, yeah, is pleasing. So I'm hoping we can get it done. But from the club's perspective, obviously they can't be held to ransom. They have to make sure the deal's what's right for the club. And I know we need players, but we also can't go into the market of panic buying like we've done previously, because we know where that gets us. We'll end up with, Christian said it on a few pods ago, we all know Forest can get bodies in the building, but you don't want a body in the building who in a year's time are like people like Jota, who fans are going to say, oh, well, he needs to go because he's not good enough. So you need the quality, and sometimes you have to wait for quality. But we obviously need, I'd say, before opening day, 2 or 3 in, don't we, to just bulk that squad out so we can get through these games until the end of the month when the window shuts. It's a shame it don't shut before the season starts, don't it, really? But the club's changed it, so they're clearly happy with how it goes. But as a fan, it's not nice.
The window seems to go partway into September nowadays. It seems to just get further and further along because of all these late deals. But I mean, Danny, like Reece says, it's got to get done sooner or later because we need to know where we're at with it all and where we're going to do. But that we said it, I think, before, that position is so open to anyone to come and play for a decent sized club. I mean, you look at what the owner's doing. I mean, he's so passionate about the football club, and he's got 3 of them. So, it says everything to me. I don't see why he wouldn't want to come. It is just literally about striking that deal. But where do you think there's a maximum where we're willing to go to? And what number would you say that is?
It's what the club value amount, isn't it? It's like Reece said. They've got a list of targets. They've all got a value to what Forest will have them at. It's one of them. I'm not really big on the numbers. If Forest value a player at 50 million and pay 50 million for him, that's fine. If Forest value a player at 20 million and they want 15, so they ignore it, that's fine. It's the one thing we can say is this time yesterday compared to now, we are more of an attractive club. That the Gibbs-White, if that Undai wanted to come to us yesterday, he's going to want to come to us even more today, because, like you've just said, the owner's gone and it's just absolutely upset the apple cart, hasn't he? I can't remember a team coming up from Premier League, and other than if you go on Man City, Man United, Liverpool, Chelsea, Arsenal, I'd say outside of that, I bet Nottingham Forest the most mentioned club in the Premier League since we've come up. Everything we've upset everything, and we love it. And it's all about ambition. It's because our owner doesn't want to be pushed about, doesn't want. We was in the chat and we was talking, and a few of the lads had meltdowns about the Gibbs-White thing. I was looking, I'm thinking, there's no way Marinakis has cashed in and thought, I want to get 60 million for Alanga, I want to get 60 million for Gibbs-White, I want to sell Marilla in next week. There's no way he did that, because there's no proof since he's been at the club that that's his agenda. His agenda is to. He believes he'll get us to win the Premier League and win the Champions League. Whether that's pie in the sky and people think, God, we're deluded, he believes that. He does. And so why shouldn't we? And why shouldn't players who are we interested in, why shouldn't they believe? I mean, Milenkovic, we've pulled him in. He's not coming because he wants to go and eat kebab at Eva's Grill. He's coming because he wants to, come, and Marinakis has told him, this is what I want. Marinakis has told him, right, we're a team that finished 18th. No, what was it, first season? 17th, then 16th. He's told him, we're going to get Europe. It's signed, and that season is signed, we've got Europe. That's absolutely crazy when you think about it, but it's facts. And he's a man of his word. We've seen it when he said it at Town Hall. I'm going to give the manager the most ammunition he can. And things like, whatever. We signed all them players. We had Keylor Navas playing in net for us. It's crazy when you actually come away from it. So that ambition and it's going to come through to the new signings. And if that doesn't work and they don't want to come after meeting him, then we're not the right club for him. And I'm happy to move on to the next one. We'll have a valuation of him. I'm in the camp. I think it will get done. I think it gets rumbled on and rumbled on. And I think, like you say, there's probably been a few names. They all do it, and they chuck him in to see if we can get extra £5 million. And if we value him at, if it costs us £10 million more than what we valued him at, I think we'll do it, because we've sold Sousa for £10 million. It looks like we might sell Jota for a bit of a profit. We've got £20 million for Danilo. I mean, I'm a Bamadelli. I imagine that coming at £10 million. We've got £5 million for Lewis O'Brien. Like, it's money where Lewis O'Brien could. If Lewis O'Brien had gone for nothing just to get him off the books, we'd have all said, "Yeah, that's fair." Like, it's looking after his career. Whereas he's gone for £5 million. That's £5 million in kitty that we didn't have. So, yeah, I value him. I think we'll get it done. I imagine it'll be between 40 million, 35, 40 million, if he comes and does well. But he ain't got to hit the ground running straight away, has he? We know that. He can come in, find his feet, and like you say, if he can contribute in both aspects of defensively and attacking, we'll be more than happy. So, no, it looks like a deal that I'd like to happen. Is the position now?
Yeah, I think you make some great points. I mean, the thing with Ndoye, I've seen him play for Switzerland at wing back, and I think that because he can do both sides of the game, it really fits in with our team, really, in terms of counter attacking. If we're going to change to this more possession style, which we could do, you never know. I think he suits that as well with what he's been doing at Bologna under Vincenzo Italiano. So no, I'm hopeful, and I think you're quite right about Marinakis. I think people scoff and laugh at him, make fun of him, and say that he's ruining football. He's disgraced to Forest. He's disgraced to the league. I'm quite happy with him. I think he's brilliant. Like, that owner is driving. He's the face of the football club, and his mentality is something that is changing a lot of supporters' minds. Before he came in and said, like, oh, supporters were happy being like this mediocre team and kind of letting people push around. He's changing that all the time, and I think that's kudos to him, man. Like, say what you like about him. I think as pure Forest, nothing to do with anything else. Whatever you hear in the media, I think he's done brilliantly, and I'm chuffed to bits with him. But yeah,
he's present as well, isn't he? He's present. We see him.
Of course he is.
We see him every game. We see him walking. He walks through streets. Like, imagine
you've got a picture with him.
Yeah, exactly. That is. It just, you don't see it. It's not the norm. It's not the norm. He wants to be. He's got a dream, hasn't he? And what more do you want than an owner who's got a dream, whose dream's the same as a bloke who's grown up in Nottingham, who goes to watch, who has a season ticket since the 9-year-old. His dream's the same dream as our dream, and that's all we want. His dreaming to make money out of Nottingham Forest. It isn't. And no. Every other manager's, not every other owner, but we know he funds it. We know what he does. And like you say, I don't care about any of the other business. I care about him for Nottingham Forest, and that's all I want to know. And his art and his drive is exactly where I want it to be as a Forest fan and my owner. And that's all I've got to say on it, really.
Yeah. There's nearly 450 people in here. If you could drop us a like and a subscribe, that would be brilliant. We've also just started a membership thing on Twitter, on YouTube as well, with 99p. You can do the other memberships. They're all kind of the same. It was just something to try and help us make the pod better, buy better equipment, get better guests on if we can. We've got Michael Manson last week, just gone. We've got it on Patreon as well for £1, because that is the least we can actually do. We can't make it 99p, unfortunately, on Patreon. So no, do join on there on YouTube. I know on iPhone it's a little bit difficult, but we have got a reel up there with some instructions for people on iPhone that can join that. Reece, Zach Abbott signed a new contract. Someone who's been bled into the squad. Obviously, he made his full debut against Newcastle in the League Cup, but then, like, in the FA Cup, kind of got a baptism of fire in at Wembley there. What do you make of that new deal, and how pleasing is it to see another academy player rolled off the conveyor belt and slowly pushed into this first team?
Yeah, I mean, that is nice, because now we are a Premier League club, and you'd have to say, going into his fourth consecutive season of Premier League, I'd say established Premier League club now, which is something I didn't could ever say. But so it's obviously more difficult for these players to come through, because that quality you need is a lot higher. I think Nuno really liked him, because he kept him around the first team last season. I don't know know whether there was any inquiries from any clubs to take him on loan. And I don't know whether this season the club will loan him out. But yeah, he did himself. He did himself no harm, didn't he? In the semi in the FA Cup, put in a shift, which all you could really ask from a young lad being put in that environment. We've not really seen much of him to say otherwise, have we? I think the only other appearance was against Newcastle, wanted in the cup. So yeah, it'd be interesting to see what happens with him, really, whether Nuno again keeps him in and around the first team, and if we was to drop back into Europa Conference, maybe against some of the lesser sides, if we was ahead for him to maybe get game time, or if we was to draw teams in the League Cup or the FA Cup, if he gets some game time there, and he obviously learns off the likes of Milenkovic and Murillo, and even like Willy Bolly, vastly experienced, or he goes out on loan. But it was nice seeing him. I think he's a Forest fan himself, isn't he? So he must be buzzing. The lad, he's like Daddy just said with Marinakis, he's living our dream, isn't he? As a fan, he's playing for the club, and yeah, hopefully when he's called upon, he can do well for us.
Yeah, I'm thinking as well, like if we do go into this back through, which we have seen quite a lot last season and in pre-season already, he can play in that. I mean, England youth international, captain England as well in the summer, and scored for him as well. I think it solely represents really good business in terms of being off the pitch, and I think it's great to see him. And he's gonna be part of the squad because we need him for the quota, don't we? Unfortunately, I know that sounds like sounds like a really minimalistic kind of thing to keep him around, but he has got the talent, because otherwise he wouldn't be playing for all these youth groups, and we would have kept him around. I think we would have just shipped him off to Mansfield with the three of the lads that have all gone there, and hopefully going to do well for Mansfield.
I know you're going on about the homegrown quote, but if that wasn't there, I think you'd want him probably on loan in the Championship, wouldn't you? Really, with Binden that level, because he's going to be playing top end Championship next season. So, but yeah, like you say, Adam, you're right there with the homegrown quota and that nonsense. He's probably going to stick around, isn't he? And like I say, if we obviously pace in a couple in the Europa League, you can maybe get some minutes there, or even the Conference League if we drop back into that. We just don't know what's happening still at the minute, do we? No,
absolutely not. I mean, Danny, have you got any say on the Zach Abbott situation? Are you happy?
Yeah, I'm happy. Obviously, keep the young talent at the club. It's a shame, like you say, with the quotes, because ideally I'd like him to have a loan. I think minutes, like I say, I don't think he'll benefit from minutes coming on in games. It'd be nice. It's a nice sentiment, isn't it, to give him minutes in games where we're comfortable. Whereas you see the true player, don't you, when they play 90 minutes with backs against the wall. So I'd like to see him have a loan. It's a natural progression, isn't it? But he's also going to learn a lot at the club in a minute. I just don't want him to get to how old is he now? Is he like 18, 19?
He's about 19.
Yeah, if he gets to like 20 and he's still sat on a bench, not getting no minutes, playing for the B team, and he's not, I just don't want that to happen. But like you say, that's the quota. That's where his idea. I'd like him to have a good loan, get him a good loan, and then see how he goes on after that. Like we have seen, Brennan did it, Yates did it, Worrell did it, Cash did it. They all did it, didn't they? And that's why it's a natural progression. It's you go in there. Well, Binden, look at Binden. Where's he? No,
he's gone to Sheffield United.
Who was it? It was a centre half, wasn't they? Who went on loan to a lower league from one of the clubs. But anyway, yeah. Like you say, I'd like to see him get a good loan move. But now I'm happy. It's all good news, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. Just moving on, guys. I mean, we played Fulham last night. It was a 3-1 loss. Obviously, the two 11s were far and few between in terms of what kind of quality we put out. The first half team was largely academy lads with a few first teamers in there, and then the second half was largely our first team with Igor Jesus and Jair making their first appearances. I mean, I'm not going to lie, I didn't watch any of it because I've been absolutely knackered. If everyone knows my situation, you will know why. So I was absolutely knackered. Didn't watch the game. I mean, I watched 2 0-0s. I don't think I needed to suffer anymore, to be honest. But I know Sangare got wonderful reports there, guys. Anything to add there? It seems like he's hit the ground running this pre-season, Reece.
Yeah, I thought he looked a lot more, a little bit leaner and definitely a lot more agile, which is good because, we've spent a lot of money on him and, every fan wants him to come good, whatever people might say on social media, unless you're Jesus. Because, if he comes good, it benefits Nottingham Forest. The first half team I thought was probably Nuno saying, especially now Marinakis was in the building last night, he's probably saying, look, this is the second string. This is where we're at, because we had literally kids, Giotto, who I don't think will probably be here by the end of the window. Taro is coming back from a serious injury, and let's be honest, if he'd stayed fit, might be moving on. I think he still might even move on. And then you've got obviously Yates in there, who come back end of the season was, behind a few centre midfielders, for example. And then obviously second half, you're kind of seeing what we are full strength, which is, on paper, a good side. It's just that behind it, there's not much. So that's where we kind of need these few players, I say, before opening day, just to give us some options for the first 3 at least games of the season. So, but yeah, Fulham played their pretty much strongest side and, went in at half-time 2-0 up. And then second half, it was a lot more even contest because there was they still had a pretty strong team out, but there was a bit of a mix. And like I said, we had a strongest team out. But yeah, I thought, like I say, Sangare, I thought Jesus looked good. Looked like he got a turn of pace and that, which is good. So I'd be interested to see how he deals with the Premier League. Kuna as well. He's played, like I say, he's played in the Club World Cup, so he's been playing against some of the best teams. So it'll be an interesting signing, especially like you said, Adam, if we go towards a back 3 at times. And yeah, I don't really look much into pre-season. The kind of you seen last night, there was a couple of times where, like, the ball broke free, for example, and I'm gonna watch a player in the Premier League who's gonna full on sprint for that ball and win it. And there's a couple of times where the players thought, well, actually, I'm probably playing at 60% here. I'm not going to do that because I don't want to overextend and then do an injury and pull an hamstring or something. So yeah, look, I'll be glad when it's all done because I find it a bit tedious, to be honest.
It's like international friendlies, isn't it? You just can't be bothered.
Yeah, players aren't going to be. It's like that's why I didn't read too much into obviously the England-Senegal game, just using an example, because England were playing at 50%. Like, yeah, it's not nice as a fan, and Senegal, it meant a lot for them because of the first African team, I think, to beat England, on his own patch as well. So yeah, friendlies are like, players aren't just gonna push themselves harder because there's nothing riding on it at the end of the day. So yeah, it will soon be over. And what is it now? 3 weeks? And then the season's here, isn't it? So, yeah, not too long.
Yeah. I mean, Danny, what was your take on it if you managed to catch it last night? It seems like Igor seemed quite handy as well. I like what I've read about his report as well.
Yeah, to be fair, like yourself, I didn't get to see it, but I've spoke to my daddy, he watched it. He said Jesus, he looked sharp. He thought Sangare looked sharp. He said he thought Hudson-Odoi looked sharp, which, to be fair, I thought Hudson-Odoi looks a lot more, just a bit more quicker off the mark than he was towards the end of the season. But we all know we're carrying a knock. That's one deal I'd like to get sorted soon, get him signed up.
Yes, definitely.
Brilliant. I just think he's a brilliant player. I think he's as good character as he's a player. Yeah, for me, pre-season is just about getting your minutes in. Anyone knows it. It's not. You don't watch pre-season and think, oh God, he's not looking as good as he was at the end of last season. All I want him to do is just not get not get injured. And it's like what you want to see is with certain players is in moments of space and moments of time which you get is a bit of quality. That's all it is for me. It's like I go back, I don't know, people, it's like the Sangare at Chesterfield when he played. It's like, oh yeah, it's only Chesterfield. It's like, yeah, but he looked levels above. And that's what I look for. It's like you're looking in these pre-season friendlies, they've got time, they've got space. They need to look a level above. If you're going in, you've got the time and space and you look like you're fitting in with the Chesterfield lads, that's when you have to have a bit of concern. But no, like you say, get through them all. No injuries for them all. Even like with Taiwo, I know what we say, just get minutes in his legs. Hopefully get him sharper. It's like, regardless if we sell him or not, as a third option striker, it's beneficial to the club. It is, especially with the competitions. If he can get minutes and get sharper, same with, like you say, Cunha, get him settled in the team. I think there's a few that'll go that we all know. Karma, he'll be gone. I don't know if that Stamenich's gone. I don't know if he played last night. I'm not sure. Obviously, there's you've got your Dennis and your bowlers. They're gone. But I'd rather see the young lads than them because we know they've got no future at the club. So, like you say, if we can get through all of pre-season with everyone just getting minutes under the belt, looking sharper. I mean, I've seen Hudson-Odoi in an interview. It sounds like they're having a bit of a grueler. I think it sounds as if they're getting ran through the paces quite a bit, which is good to see, really. Because, like I say, I think when there was on about maybe 2 seasons ago, they were saying they were playing these games after they'd had a full training session in the morning. So it's all good. It's all good.
Yeah.
And if Tank can get it, minutes in the legs, no injuries, then I'll be happy. I'm not bothered if we lose every game. It don't bother me.
Yeah, they'll be doing like double sessions and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, I think if you've watched the video of Callum Hudson-Odoi and Olorina roaming around in a golf cart, they're like saying about how hard it's been. It seems like it's really ramped up from last season, and we know how well we did last season with a full pre-season under Nuno. So I'm very excited. I don't look into pre-season results. I don't think we were that good last year in pre-season. To be fair, I think we were quite dog, to be honest. So this is no different to me. Moving on, just a few bits and bobs. I don't think it's worth like a real big chat, but like obviously we already mentioned Lewis O'Brien's gone to Wrexham for £5 million. He seemed to do well at Swansea, but hopefully he goes and revives his career a little bit and gets that form that got him a move to Forest. It was unfortunate that he got ill at the time he did and everything else and couldn't really keep that form going. He had at Huddersfield, so that's kind of gone. But Jota might be moving to Sporting Lisbon, Reece, and we might be getting about £6 million profit if reports are to be true on that one. It seems like George Mendes might be pushing that one as well.
Yeah, I think it was they muted like a loan to buy, but it wasn't an obligation, was it? So that's no good to Forest. You know, we don't want him to go on loan to Sporting, and if he don't do it, he comes back to us. We need either, we'll take a loan if it's an obligation to buy, or obviously a straight permanent transfer. I know obviously fans are saying, oh, well, we can't get rid of him because we haven't got, sufficient backup at the minute, which, I do get, but Jota's not going to be a long-term player for us, is he? If there's somebody at the table with an offer now and you're going to make money on him, especially if Mendes is getting involved, you kind of have to let these players go because you don't want to get to the end of the window when we will have brought reinforcements, make no mistake about it, and then we've got players just lounging around who are surplus to requirements, and by that time, that club who wanted them have moved on. You've just got to strike a deal while the iron's hot, sometimes in football. So, look, hopefully we can probably get that deal done because, odd times... Jota's he's just so bipolar, wasn't he? When he had his head screwed on, like I've said again on this topic, when he had his head screwed on, you look at Villa away when he come on, he was an absolute menace, wasn't he? And there's other times, the early stage of his career where, you looked at him and think, he's a real good option from the bench. He pushed Elanga out of the team at one point. And then there was just some other times where you kind of just watching as a fan. I think Bournemouth away was one for me where within the first minute, he was just chucking himself on the floor against Kirkaz. And I'm just like, we're just going to play with a passenger today. And look, we got battered 5-0. It wasn't entirely his fault. It was a team effort. But there's just some times where it just was vastly frustrating to watch as a fan. So I think if we can get a permanent deal or a loan with an obligation to buy a deal for good money, I think it's something you take, like I say, while the iron's hot, personally.
Yeah, I mean, Danny, do you see that as if that deal goes through? I mean, that leaves definitely only one winger at the club, so we must be quite confident of bringing people in. You'd have to say, wouldn't you?
Yeah. But then I think I mentioned in the chat, we basically played the last 5 games with one winger, didn't we? We've seen Jota come on at right back over coming on the wing. We've seen Hudson-Odoi who was injured. Dominguez played out there 4 or 5 times towards the end of the season. So I don't think as crazy as it sounds, if Hudson-Odoi is fit, and obviously we've sold Elanga, we're probably in a similar situation, which we know we needed to strengthen. Sousa going is irrelevant. He won't play him. So we've just got money in the kitty. I mean, there's talk of Traore. I'd take him tomorrow. Like, it'd be a brilliant addition, in my opinion. It is getting to the point where we are a bit thin on the ground, but we're gonna sign people. We know we are. We're not gonna. It just seems like a window. We've spoke about it numerous times, which it's just top six, Sky Six heavy. They're the ones doing all the deals, and that we're just going to have to wait till they've done their business, and we're just going to have to take their scraps. And that's football. That's right or wrong. That's where we are. We're just going to have to feed off their scraps because we can't compete. Because Newcastle can't compete in Champions League. Villa can't compete in their Europa League, and they've been in the Champions League. It's like you've got United teams like that beating teams like Newcastle to players, and regardless of what we think, they're in the Champions League. It's like when everyone was like, "Oh, Gibbs-White's gone because we didn't get Champions League all going." It's nonsense, isn't it? It doesn't matter where you are. There's a food chain, and we're just going to have to feed off. It's like, for me, if that Xavi Simons goes to Chelsea, I take Gooseberry all tomorrow. Do you know what I mean? That's what we're going to have to work in on, that kind of bracket where they've got players where who's the winger you was on about at Spurs. The young lad. Players like that they're going to be told, right, you're going to be limited minutes. We can offer them more minutes. That's what the market, and that market don't come into, like we've said, probably the beginning of the season when teams are at. It's all right now in pre-season, and you're getting 45 minutes in the games, and it's like you're in a big group and you feel part of it. When it comes to first game of the season, and there's 18 players named, and first two games you've not made squad, then you become a bit more unsettled, don't you? You think, actually, maybe I ought to try and get some minutes. And we've seen it. We've seen. I mean, how many did we sign on transfer deadline day? That was it 5 or 6. Like, I'm expecting something like that. Hopefully, get the big deals in, like you say, the Undai, maybe get another. But we're only really in for him, aren't we? Let's be honest. There's a lot of talk of, we like this player, but actual concrete offers, we seem to just be in for him, don't we?
Yeah. I mean, I don't know if you've seen the video of that. I think it's an Arsenal fan, and he's saying, like, registering interest, showing interest, showing. Yeah. Just that's all it is. Like, considering interest. Like, oh god, like I hate it. I actually hate it.
You've just got so many players though who will be wanting to hold out for Champions League moves. Like, a lot of fans. Yeah, that's what I'm going to mention. A lot of fans lost their minds yesterday when Romano put that tweet up saying, he's in talks with Everton. And it comes out today, he's still holding out for a Champions League club. Douglas Luiz is the same. He wants a top club. But what happens with these type of players is they realise towards the end of the window that there isn't any top clubs who want to sign them. This is probably why we got Sangare, to be honest. And it gets to the end of the window and there's a week left and an agent will say, right, these are the clubs who are in for you. No top clubs have decided to come in for you. So do you want to move or do you want to not? And that's when you kind of, as a club like us who are, below that Sky Six, unfortunately, that's when you've got to try and nick deals and get real quality players. Because, a lot of the elite side as well probably see clubs like us as like a kind of litmus test as well. Yeah. Not all of them could have come and took Murillo for what, 10 million quid? And now he's had 2 brilliant seasons with us, and God, what's he valued at? Ridiculous money. But they don't want to do it because they'd rather see, or does he work out at X club? Like they see players going into Europe, don't they? Will they work out in Europe, and then we'll take him afterwards, and then they end up spending a lot more money on him. Like Elanga, Eddie Howe's a genius. He saw Elanga. Well, he could have picked him up 2 years ago for 15 million. He's now paid 55. It would have been, I'm sure, fine then as a backup for Newcastle. You know what I mean? So, yeah, he's going to.
They already don't want him.
Yeah,
their fans have already said he's rubbish.
I get their fans, the idiots, but it'll go to the end of the window. It will, I think, for certain deals, especially if you want some real quality players. I think the Ndoi deal was there to be done because he's said yes to us, and it's between us and Napoli, isn't it? So, if you pay the price, we'll probably get that deal done. But some players will want to assess options. And I'll just finally give you like another example. We all said when Harry Toffolo left the club, he could play for any championship side. He could have this go to any of them. Look, what is it now? It's nearly the end of August. He's still not got a club because he's probably assessing his options. So some players will just want to assess options, unfortunately. And, at times it is out of the club's hands as much as we need players. If you want certain quality players, you might have to wait on them, as, like I said, with Sangare a couple of years ago.
Yeah. I mean, the way we've done deals in the past, it just seems like suddenly there's a report and the next thing is they're holding a shirt. Look at Elliot Anderson last season. It was like, Forest are buying Elliot Anderson for 35 million quid, which was all like, what the heck is happening? And then obviously we found out the Blackademos side of it all. And we're like, where the hell's that come from? Because it was never linked at all. And then it's happened. Look at last night. David Ornstein's come out. Forest are looking at signing, trying to give the right new deal within a few hours. He's there with Marinakis, like hugging him, going, I'm staying.
Well, it's like, I know it's a little bit different, but with the contract signed this summer, Matt Sells was just completely out of the blue, wasn't it? There was literally nothing written about that at all, and it happened. Yeah. I think the problem is nowadays, and I understand it because we're all part of it, but football fans are just because there's so much information in the media, we kind of think that everything is out there when, stuff is kept under wraps with clubs at times. Liverpool, I remember doing it perfectly, like when they signed Szoboszlai. It literally, I don't think there was any talk at all, and then it was like, they've agreed a fee, and he's going to sign. And it's like, oh, wow, nothing's been said about that. And these are one of the elite clubs, you know what I mean? So the club won't be sat on the hands, I'm sure of it. I mean, if there was, we would have to worry, but they'll be trying, I'm sure.
Yeah,
definitely. It works on the flip side and all. It's like with the Isak situation. It's like they was under the impression, Langer's gone there to play with Isak, but he's now not training, wants to move. Like, that's not just happened overnight. Do you know what I mean? And I think it's credit to where we are. I think they know that we're a club that they can chuck on any transfer and put on a speculation. But I'd say it seems to be all under the wraps, and until we will sign 2-3 players who we want linked to, and then, like I say, within 24 hours, they sign them there with shirt, and that's the way to do it, isn't it?
Yeah, hopefully. I mean, just to round it up, guys. I mean, we've got the whole we're waiting on this Palace hearing from Cass and what that situation is. Obviously, I think it's a week tomorrow. We would meant to be finding out who we get in the Conference League. I mean, the A4 piece of paper coming out the bowl, I mean, that might be an obvious pick for us doing the draw of which teams they might be. I mean, to write that on a piece of paper. I mean, Reece, what's your making of it all? And I mean, 11th of August is the supposed latest day. I feel like it's stupid. It's a complete and utter farce. It really is.
I mean, I can't see it going to that day, mate, because it just makes life more difficult for everybody, doesn't it? I think they've got to make a decision. So it's probably going to come this week, because a week tomorrow is when the draw is for the last qualifying round of the Conference League. So I generally think that a decision will be made this week, because I just can't see it. I just don't understand why they make life more difficult for themselves, Cass, if they was to drag it out another week after, because like you said, Adam, the paper would come out, the little ball that they unscrew, and it would be a split, wouldn't it? Palace and Nottingham Forest. So, it has been a saga, hasn't it? And, some fans have got a point say it's probably affected his window. You look at what Palace has spent. I think they've only spent like 3 million, haven't they? Was it Sosa from Torino, I think they brought? I know they're obviously speaking about signing the lad from, is it Nice? Is it Gesson? Is his name?
Yeah.
But it's probably hampered them as well, all this at points, because, let's be honest, if you're a player and you link with Forest, what would you rather be coming into a 2-legged playoff in the Conference League, which is, the third tier of European football, or at least guaranteed 8 games in the group stage of Europa League, where there's a lot more prestigious teams in there as well, the likes of your Romas, etc. So, in terms of what I think will happen, look, I think Palace are if you go with the logic, you look at, I think it's Drogheda. There's another team, I think, from Sevilla.
Brøndby. James Cunningham's put this up. Cass won't overturn the decision. It just opens up for litigation from Drogheda and Bromby. And there was another team, wasn't there? I think.
I think is it Dax? I think Slovenian side. I know there was from Slovenia.
It would open a can of worms, wouldn't it?
Yeah, but my only flip to that is, look, let's be honest. One man and his dog cares about them two sides. You know, Palace are a Premier League side. They're in the media, as you see, and then they're putting pressure on the media. With the media, you know, you're seeing it in from Sky. Kava Sutherland is his name. Kava, whatever his name is. I'm thinking of the boxing promoter. He's obviously, you know, you got Gary Lineker who had Parish on, and they're all trying to put pressure on. And that is the only way I think they'll get out of it, is if Cass buckles to the pressure, because it's an English Premier League club. It's a brilliant story. They've won the first major trophy. It's the first ever time in Europe. That is the only way I think they'll get out of it, is that they'll buckle to the pressure. But like, was it James then who said, it doesn't set a good precedent, does it? And I think if that does happen, then we'll probably end up appealing. So it's going to drag on even more.
It's the same for us, though, Reece. We've got promoted, and within 3 seasons, we got back into Europe for the first time in 30 years.
But you know how, we spoke about this earlier in the pod. You know how the narrative with us is Marinakis is a disruptor, isn't he? So he's not going to get praise from any of the, Palace. Let's be honest, Palace have been in the Premier League, 12 years? And they finish mid-table every season. They'll have the other good result, but they'll finish mid-table every season. They don't say boo to a goose. They're just part of the Premier League, aren't they? And whereas us, we've come up, we've spent all this money, apparently. We've done this, we've done that. We've got an owner.
In a China shop, aren't we?
You've got, like Andy said, you've got an owner what's visible. He's at the games. You don't take no bull. So, the probably cartel, and the others who, bootlick the cartel probably don't like us. And so that's where you don't get it's a great story when it is a great story. 3 years from bottom of the championship to in Europe. It's a ridiculous story. When you look at the squad they come out, they come up with. But going back to the I think that's the only way they get out of it personally, is if Cass buckle to the pressure and just say, look, and they turn around and go, this is a win for football, etc. But at the end of the day, look, we're only getting promoted into it because we finished 7th in the league. It's not like we've finished 15th and complained randomly, is it? And they're, we'll give Palace a spot to Forest because they've complained. No, we're the next team in line. And the funny thing is as well, even if you went by the FA Cup rankings, who's the next team in line through there to not get in Europe? Well, it's Nottingham Forest, isn't it? Villa and City are in it. So, hopefully, look, I'm easy either way, mate, because I've obviously resigned myself to the Conference League once, the dust has settled. But from a club perspective, I guess it'll be good that they'll have 8 guaranteed games in Europa League against better opposition. But, Stefan Borson said this on TalkSPORT, the finances, if you get to the semis of the Conference League, to the last, I think, round of 16 Europa League, he said are very similar. So, it's just like guaranteed games, and I guess with the Europa League.
Yeah. I mean, Danny, can you imagine that if Cass suddenly gave in to Steve Parish because he moaned about an email that he didn't get, considering they've used the same email for the Premier League handbook for however long? I mean, there'd be uproar, wouldn't there? And then would there be a whole sympathy for Forest? Like, oh, well, they didn't read an email or something. Like, it'd be a load of rubbish. But I think, like you've said, Reece, it's quite right that we're
the footballing world would love it though if it got overturned. They would.
We're quite a Marmite football club at the moment. I'm quite enjoying it. I don't know about you, Danny.
Yeah, I don't think there's any way it comes out and Forest gets sympathy. I just don't. I don't think that's us. But it's one of them. We're talking from everything sentimental, isn't it? We're football fans. Whereas in the courts, it's all done on what the rules are, isn't it? We've seen it. We've seen it with ourselves with the Brennan Johnson deal. Rules are the rules. Yeah, you basically try to be more sustainable, but you've missed the deadline. And when it comes to actual black and white, they've missed the deadline. They'd like to say they've not done it. They've already looked at the case and rejected it. So to then go in, I think I heard someone on TalkSPORT basically that says if they throw them out of the Europe and put them in the Conference League, they'll know they've done it knowing that they'd appeal. So they seem quite confident that appeal would be rejected because you wouldn't make the decision to then be revoked, kind of thing. So I'm in the camp of, I'm like Reece, I'm not in this, we're in Europe, it don't matter where we are, what we're doing. It's like I keep seeing people like saying, oh, we're going to get spanked in Europe. We're in Europe, let's just enjoy it. Like why are we worrying about how we're going to do it? Like, this is a dream that I've had. Like, I've seen crap for years, and tried to make out that we're good. Like, this is actually good. Like, we're in Europe, whatever competition it is. And I don't buy this, Forest getting there, it's not done. It's all done on merit. We're there because we deserve to be there. We were unlucky not to get Champions League. Like, that's facts. It's not. We've not finished 7th, 15 points off 6th. We've gone into the last game of the season. If we'd have won it, we'd have got Champions League. It's like we are deserving of it. Yeah, by the rules they should have. I like Palace. Like, I do. Like, I think it is a shame, but it's like, oh, isn't it? Rules are the rules. It's no one was sympathetic for us because they were the rules, and as fans, we accepted them, didn't we? We were like, oh, this is crap. But the rules are the rules. We'll just have to knuckle down. Luckily, the bottom 3 that year weren't very good, and we survived, and we've moved on from it. That's what we did. We moved on from it. Do you know, if we'd have gone down and got relegated, like, it could have been an absolute horror story. But like you say, no one would have been sympathetic of that. So no, I'm quite relaxed on it. I think I'd love it though if we did get it. I genuinely think we're going to be up there in the most hated club. Every ground we're going to go to is going to be hostile. It's going to be absolutely brilliant. It's like, that's what we want though, isn't it? We don't want to be just turning up happy. Fans are, oh, these are good fans. We like these. We like this club. We're here to upset people, and that's what we're all about.
I think as well, like, UEFA have thrown them a little bit of a lifeline, putting them in the Conference League for how it is at the minute, because they could have chucked them out altogether if there was going to be really hard.
Gave it to Brighton.
Yeah, because obviously there was meant to be the multi-club ownership trouble with Bromby. They're still in that tournament, I believe. So, yeah, I'm sure if UEFA turned around and said, I'll tell you what, Mr. Parish, either accept the Europa Conference League or chuck you out together, I think Parish should have been on his knees to UEFA asking for that spot. So yeah, we'll see what happens, mate. Look, if they want to be ultras, want to go and intimidate women on reception at UEFA like they make the decisions, then that's up to them. But yeah,
it's saving face as well, isn't it, from Parish? It's protocol, isn't it?
Well, that's what you do, isn't it, as human.
It's like, you can't not appeal it. It's protocol. It's, we've messed up, but we'll just basically do what we can to drag it on a bit more so it looks like we've actually thought about what we're doing. It's protocol. There's no way that we're going to turn around and go, yeah, that's sound. We'll do that. We'll move on. This was always going to happen. We all knew it. We've all said it from the start. It's a mess that idea that no one wants to be in. But I will with Reece. I think it'll be resolved within this week before the draw. And I'm in the same camp. I'm resigned to Conference League. You forget Europa, you're just even more excited, aren't you? Because we all know the clubs are a bit more exciting to go to. But no, look forward to it either way.
Yeah, I mean, Nick M put in the chat as like Palace fans protested with a suitcase of fake cash at UEFA. It was so cringy. Seraphin was not even there; he was on a holiday. I mean, I'm really sorry I'm not interacting with the chat a bit more. I know Seven, who's a Spurs fan, and he's been interacting with everyone, winding folk up, and I mean, he gifted a membership, so really thank you very much for that. It's just so much is happening, it's really hard to keep up with the chat sometimes. We're still getting used to all this, but thank you very much for everyone that's joined in. We've had 645 people. If people want to like and subscribe, that goes a long way. It really helps. It's going to help us improve the podcast going forward and keep it running and everything else, so we really appreciate it. And everyone joined us on a Sunday morning. And Danny, Reece, I mean, if there's anything else you'd both want to say, speak your truth now. Anything you want to go for, Reece?
No, just because I think when you said it, we had like about 300 odd in here, Adam. Obviously, for those who are Forest fans in here, if you do sign up to the YouTube or the Patreon, we've had a really good podcast with Michael Mancian, who obviously captained us many moons ago and played under 7 managers. Some really good stories and that. And like Adam said, it's only £1. So what do you get for £1 nowadays? And we're hoping as well to have some, more ex-players, and I won't say any more than that on. So hopefully
we'll be chucking more stuff on the membership stuff as we go as well. We'll work it out. But yeah, no, pound. What more do you want? And then if there's other options, if you're feeling a little bit more generous, Danny, anything before we finish?
No, nothing from me. Just enjoy Sunday dinners and a toast for Mr. Marinakis. I'll be doing. But no, hopefully catch him in the street again. I'll work with him, try and get him on.
€2 from 7. No, I really appreciate that. That's really, very kind of you. That goes a long way. So no, thank you very much for joining us. We'll be back in the week. I'm sure there'll be plenty of coming out. We've got plenty to come out, and hopefully, I mean, we play Estoril, I think, on Tuesday. I think it is at Reese, the reunion of João Carvalho.
Yeah, interesting.
Yeah, definitely.
No, I'm not saying anymore. Not getting into the debate.
Thank you very much. Until next time, come on, you Reds.